My name is Iris Holloway. After 6 years as an ICU nurse overseas, I flew home to surprise my mother in the $600,000 house I bought her. A woman I'd never met opened my own front door, looked me up and down, and said, "The maid is out back." The maid was my mother. 66, on her knees in a black apron, scrubbing a patio for another woman's dinner party in the house that has my name on the deed. My brother and his wife had been living there for 14 months. What I did by 9:00 that same night is why my sister-in-law still says I destroyed this family. None of them knew the deed was in my backpack, and I had an appointment at 3. Welcome to Lineage of Lies, where quiet women finally stop being quiet. Subscribe so you never miss what happens when the calm one is the one holding the deed. 8 years ago, my father died and left my mother, Ellen, with $70,000 in medical debt. I worked every extra shift I could, but it wasn't enough. My brother Derek was building his own life. I don't blame him. But somebody had to jump. I took an ICU contract in Abu Dhabi, triple the pay. I promised my mother 2 years. It took 6. I missed Christmases, funerals, and engagement. I paid off the debt in year 3, then opened a savings account I named Roses. My mother had always wanted a rose garden. She'd slow the car past pretty houses and whisper, "Someday, a yard with good sun." She never asked out loud, so I saved in silence. By year 4, I bought her a Craftsman, $600,000, deep porch, backyard with good sun. I put $210,000 down, the mortgage was in my name. Our lawyer told me to keep the deed in my name, protection from anybody's creditors. We both knew who he meant. Mom told people her daughter helped with the down payment so Derek wouldn't feel small. The day she got the keys, she planted roses before unpacking a single box. I thought I'd finally taken care of her. Then Derek's company went under. The bank took his house. I offered a loan. He said, "You write checks, Iris. I show up." That's the difference between us. Pride is expensive. I just didn't know yet who'd be paying the bill. Mom called. Derek and his wife Melissa needed a place to land, just a few weeks. I said yes with 2 conditions, temporary, and Mom is the lady of the house. Derek turned on the charm, "We'll take better care of her than she takes care of us." I'd only ever seen Melissa once, in a blurry video call. 3 months in, Melissa's mother Sandra arrived for a weekend that never ended. Mom's knee surgery became the hinge. Derek moved her to the first floor, doctor's orders, and her phone broke. Our Sunday calls moved to his tablet, with him always at the edge of the frame. Mom's face thinned, her hands roughened from dishwater. I mailed her a new phone. It was signed for but never reached her. I offered a cleaning lady. Derek said, "We don't need strangers in the house." Then came the flower delivery for her 66th birthday. I requested a photo. The picture showed the porch, and my mother hanging laundry in a worn housecoat in the background, on her own birthday. Then her church friend June emailed, "Ellen stopped coming." I saw her carrying groceries in the rain while a blonde woman sat dry in the car, scrolling. Somebody's been rearranging your mother. I booked a flight and told no one. I printed the deed, confirmed the 3:00 appointment, and zipped it all into my backpack. I arrived at 10:40 a.m. in a ball cap and sunglasses. Melissa opened the door in a silk robe. She'd posted an ad for a cleaner that week. She saw a tired woman and assumed I was the help. "The maid is out back," she said, and walked away. I found my mother on her knees scrubbing the patio. Her roses had been shoved into plastic pots in the shade to make room for a party set. She saw me, lit up, then immediately checked the windows. "Oh honey, you can't just, they don't like surprises." She held me like contraband and whispered, "Don't say anything about the money." She led me to her room, a folding bed in the sunroom off the laundry, boxes still packed, her wedding photo next to dish soap. Upstairs, Derek and Melissa had the master. Sandra had Mom's old room. The rose wallpaper Mom had waited 60 years to choose had been stripped. On the fridge, a laminated chore chart. Ellen, laundry Monday, Thursday. Ellen. Bathrooms Tuesday. Ellen, dinner daily. Little check marks. At lunch, Melissa set 4 plates and a tray. Mom likes eating in her room. I pulled out a chair. Sit with me, Mom. 3 seconds of stillness. My mother sat, hands in her lap like a child. Melissa's smile thinned. Everyone in this house earns their keep. I stayed nurse calm, chart the infection, don't yell at it, and took the mail on my way to the bank. A storecard statement, $3,900 in charges my mother never made. At the sink, Mom whispered, every month, Melissa borrowed her card. Every month, Derek collected $600 of her Social Security as grocery money. 14 months. Over $12,000 from a widow whose check is $1,860. We went to the real bank. 14 months of statements printed and stamped. The teller said, we flagged activity. The gentleman called it rent. Derek had been added to her account after surgery. When she tried to remove him, Derek stayed busy for 3 straight months of Saturdays. We opened new accounts, froze the old, and redirected her deposits. Before we left, I called a locksmith, 7:30 p.m., 2 houses down. In the car, Mom finally broke. It started kind, then one hallway at a time. They never ask for your whole life at once. When I go to Golden Pines, the house passes to Derek, and maybe that settles him. She thought the house was hers to leave. She'd been planning to erase herself. I'd found a Golden Pines application hidden in her Bible, a $75 deposit saved in 1s and 5s. They let you keep 2 flower pots, she said. I told her, Mom, the house was never yours to leave. It's mine. By tonight it'll be yours in a way nobody can touch. At 3 o'clock, our lawyer signed the trust, life tenancy for my mother, irrevocable. My will rewritten, everything to Mom, nothing to Derek. Revocation letters for all 3. A repayment agreement for $12,300. I updated her healthcare proxy. Derek had slipped papers in on painkillers. Voided. We drove back to Maplewood Court in a silence that felt like suturing a wound. Melissa was already setting her stage. The supper club table was dressed with my mother's wedding china. Sandra summoned Ellen, iced tea, lemon this time, and I got it myself. Melissa held out the black apron in front of everyone, a dare. We all play our part. I took it and tied it on. The help here's everything. Derek toasted, the ones under this roof. Melissa told me, dessert won't plate itself. My mother stood. Her name is Iris, and this is her home. Derek slammed his hand, sit. I untied the apron. Actually, Derek, I'd love to toast. I set a yellow folder on the table. Whose name is on this house? Sandra started, Ellen's, obviously. And one day, she caught herself too late. June Aldrich set her teacup down with a click. I slid the deed to my brother. Read the grantee line out loud. He read, Iris Marie Holloway. The color left his face. Paper 1, I bought this house. You've been living in your little sister's house. Paper 2, it sits in a trust, Mom holds life tenancy, untouchable. Paper 3, permission to occupy revoked, effective tonight. Melissa screamed, this is our home. No. You made the owner scrub your patio on her knees. I laid down the bank statements and the chore chart. Social Security lands on the 2nd, $600 leaves on the 3rd. 14 months. Plus forged charges. That's a felony. Option A, leave by 9 o'clock, sign repayment, collect your things by appointment. Option B, Monday morning, police, eviction, civil suit, and 6 witnesses. Derek collapsed. This was the only thing that still looked like winning. Then he pointed at Melissa, the apron, the schedule, her idea. Melissa spun, Who told me his mother liked being useful? They ate each other in front of the neighbors. At 7:30, the locksmith I'd booked from the bank pulled up. Suitcase wheels growled down the driveway while new deadbolts clicked in. At 8:52, Melissa threw the keys hard enough to scratch the wood and hissed, "You'll die alone in this house." I held the door open. No. My mother almost did. Drive safe. At 9 o'clock exactly, the locksmith handed me 2 sets of keys. That deep-oiled click was the most peaceful sound in 6 years. June and I carried Mom's belongings upstairs. Her wedding photo on the dresser, her Bible on the nightstand. She sat on the bed and smoothed the quilt with cracked hands, so careful, as if she might wrinkle someone else's things. Then she remembered they were hers. She cried the good kind. What do I do with this whole room? Sleep in, Mom. That's the whole job now. I dropped the black apron and the box of their forgotten things on the porch. It was never her uniform, it was their flag. 3 weeks later, Derek works nights at a warehouse. The first $250 hit Mom's account on time. I don't need his apology, I need his autopay. Sandra rents a room near her other daughter, who I'm told keeps a chore chart. Mom's roses are back in the sunniest spot. She tore up the Golden Pines application and composted it. It should at least feed the roses. I signed a new contract, 8 weeks on, 4 weeks home. Rose wallpaper is going back up. Florals date a house, and so do widows, and I intend for both to date it for a very long time. Derek texted, "Can we talk?" I replied, "When the last payment clears, then we'll see who shows up." If this reminded you to check deeds and emergency contacts, do it this week. Share this with someone who needs it. Comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lineage of Lies.